Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the VSK Chatbot live training. Today's agenda will be covering how to use the teacher attendance bot. We'll be covering how to update your teacher data when it gets updated, as well as we'll take in some common questions that you all may have. By default, all you all are on mute. When so after maybe every time I complete a topic, I will be open for questions. Okay, when I say you can ask questions, you can raise your hand, and then I will take your questions one by one. Right? Until then, you'll be muted. Optionally, if you have any questions in between, you can also post the questions in the chat. All right, and my colleagues Amit, Sifa, and Pratik will be more than happy to answer the session. If you have not joined on Zoom or any of your colleagues are not able to join on Zoom, they can also watch the live streaming of this session on YouTube. For everyone's convenience and to avoid a clutter of messages, I would like to inform everyone attendance is not to be marked in the chat. When we have to mark the attendance, we will send a Google link. You can mark your attendance in that Google link. Please do not put down your names in the chat. Putting your names in the chat will not mark your attendance. I hope that is clear to everyone. Thank you. So it's 2 minutes to 3 o'clock. All right. In the interest, so that a lot of people can attend this session, we'll begin the session maybe around 2 to 3 minutes past 3 o'clock. All right. So we'll wait, give it another 3 to 4 minutes before we session. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon to the attendees or the people who have just joined. All right, we started off this session at 20 participants. We now have 50 participants who have joined today's session. As I said, in the interest of the session reaches out to everyone. We'll wait for another 2 minutes before we begin this session. Good afternoon, Manisha. For those who have joined, okay, not start the presentation, but I hope you can see what is there on the screen. Right, what you see on the screen is something that's visible to the entire department in VSK, right, which is an SCRT. At any point of time, if you want to visit SCRT, see VSK, understand what it is we are doing and why it is we are doing, you are most welcome to come and join us and see and take into account the activities that we're doing. On my screen, what you can see is the attendance dashboard. This is the real-time attendance for all the schools. So what you see on the left-hand side of your screen, you have approximately 1,470 schools in Goa, out of which 42 schools have marked the teachers' attendance. Student attendance also has been marked by 6 schools. However, we have not mandated that yet because we don't have the data for all the students of all the schools. Some schools have given us the updated data. Those schools can mark the student attendance. If you would like to mark the student attendance of your school as well, please get in touch with VSK. You can email us at vskde@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to assist you in how to go about the student attendance. My colleague will share the email ID and the contact number in Zoom as well as on YouTube. So, as I said, 42 schools have marked the attendance. Out of 42 schools, 795 teachers' attendance has been marked, out of which 619 are present out of the 795. The same thing that you can see for attendance, right? So you've got 235 students whose attendance has been marked, out of which 316 are present. So I'm just going to hit the refresh button because we have a refresh time at 3 o'clock. So as I said, every 2 or 3 hours, the data keeps getting refreshed. As I said, this is real time attendance, right? So we can keep a track of attendance marked, every day real time. So 52 schools have marked. I'm sure the number would have increased. Let's check. So as you see, the number has now increased to 77 schools. Right? So at 3 o'clock, the data has got refreshed. So 77 schools have marked the teachers' attendance. 12 schools have marked the student attendance. Attendance was marked for 1,519 teachers, out of which 1,227 teachers are present today. Now, the aim or the goal is to increase this number from 77 to 1,470. 100% of the schools should be marking attendance. The session that we are doing today is so that everyone gets the required support to help you mark the teacher's attendance on your phone within 2 minutes. Great. So it's 5 minutes past 3. Right? I will just check how many attendees we have, and then we can begin the session. Great. So we have 76 attendees or 74 attendees on today's session. So before we start the session, all right, let me reiterate. Please do not put your name and your school in the chat. Doing so does not mark your attendance. The attendance link for today's workshop will be shared towards the end of the session. You can mark the attendance at that time. I will take questions, I will take queries from all of you all one by one when I'm having a question and answer session. All right. Initially, I will just talk a little bit about VSK, and then I will proceed and talk about how you can update your teacher data, which a lot of you are having difficulties with, and how and when it gets updated on the teacher attendance spot as well. So, without any further ado, all right, I will begin. So what is VSK? So VSK is a department wherein we're using artificial intelligence to you in the form of chatbots to capture a lot of data points such as attendance, student performance. And what we then do is we compile all this data, all right, and we do an analysis where we can get to know patterns and trends of performance, of attendance in schools, whether it is student or teachers, etc., and then come to some definitive results. Now, the vision for Vidya Samiksha Kendra is to help students to learn better via the weekly practice quizzes and the Nipun assessments that we have. Teachers to teach better. So we are in the process of getting resources digitally available on the phone to teachers as per subjects and learning outcomes, and bases the usage of students and teachers on these resources, whatever data we get, it's to help officers to decide and make better decisions. The framework that Vidya Samiksha Kendra operates on is called the 6A framework. Vidya Samiksha Kendra is a central initiative, and it's a mandate that all states have to follow it in every state. There is no option, it's not an optional initiative. So the 6A framework, or the 6A's, stand for attendance, assessment, adaptive learning, administration, accreditation, all with the help of AI, which is artificial intelligence. So attendance is something what we are doing today, which I will take you through. Assessments is already going on. We have weekly practice quizzes that go on, and once every 2 years we have, twice a year we have the Nipun assessment, which we started from last year. In terms of attendance, the goal is to digitize attendance for all teachers and students from all schools. Currently, we are doing it only for the teaching staff for grades 1 to 12. Very soon, once we get habituated to marking the attendance for teachers and students, we can then proceed and launch the attendance board for non-teaching staff as well. As of today, it's only for teachers and students. What we have live today is only teacher attendance. We would like you to mark the teacher attendance for this year. Put that on mute. Close it. Just go out and sorry about that. So as I was saying, attendance is digital attendance for teachers and students. Under assessments, we have your weekly practice quiz, which your students are answering. It's from grades 1 to 9. And twice a year, we have the Nipun assessments, which is a foundational assessment for grades 1, 2, and 3. Last year, it happened in September. This year, the continuation happened in the month of March. For this fresh academic year, we will have one tentatively in October or November. The dates will be communicated to you via WhatsApp as well as via a circular. I will not go into the details of the other A's because I don't want to take too much of time. The focus today is on attendance. Briefly, adaptive learning, we have your digital suite of home learning applications such as video library, storyline, maths, teaching assistant board to provide you learning outcomes, lesson plans, at-grade material. All right. We are still in the process of refining and making these things better. And as and when it is complete, we will let you know. So I'll move on to the topic. The first thing I think so maximum of you all have joined today, all right, is because of how to update your teacher details. So before I start, I would welcome everyone, those on YouTube and on Zoom as well. How many of you all have joined today's session because you want to know about this sheet, how to update the details of the teacher? If you have joined for that, you can say a yes. If it is for any other reason, you can put a no in the chat. I'll just give you all a minute or two to uh, respond. Great. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them who have joined in to understand for attendance. So okay, I understand. Yes, attendance. Okay. So as you see, maximum of you have joined because of the attendance. You'll need to know how to get the details updated. So what I'm going to do now is, Dr. Ashok, please check your internet connection. We have tested and we have multiple people joined. I would request you to please check your internet connection. So now open so this particular file. Okay, it's a list of schools, all right, and a list of the UDI's IDs. Now each file is linked to the particular school's information, the teacher information. Now once you update the details on this sheet, only then will the attendance what reflect the correct details. The question now is, how do you update this sheet? So my colleague Amit, I would request my colleague Amit to please put the school list file link in the chat. If you have not accessed the link, you can access the link now. My colleague will put it up in the chat. Once you open that link, you will be able to view this file. On this file, let us say I am from Saraswat Vidyalaya. I will come to this file and I will click on this link. Once I click on that link, another Google Sheet will populate, which will have all the teacher details. Now, in the teacher details, you need to fill the columns marked in green. These are the columns you need to fill up. You cannot leave any of these cells blank. You need to enter the school code, the block, or school name, the employee name, the designation, employee type. The column is called is active, which I'll take you through what it is. You then have gender, date of birth. I just want to say my screen is not visible. Let me just please for a minute. Please bear with me for a minute. I'm just going to check why my screen is not visible. From everyone, are you able to see my screen? Is the Google Sheet document visible on my screen? If you please confirm in the chat. Okay, great. So I will continue. So we have a column is active, gender, date of birth, appointment, and district name and school management type. The rest of the details, such as employee code, last modified date time, these will be filled up by me. When I say me, I mean VSK. These details, such as your employee code and your last modified date, will be filled up by VSK. You need to fill up the other details. The last four columns, which is video, Aadhaar number, reason of service end date, these are optional columns. It is not mandatory to fill up these columns. Now, how do you go about adding a teacher name in this sheet? So, what I would do is the UDI's code, the block, and the school name remain the same. Under teacher name, I will add a teacher. I will leave the employee code blank. Under destination, I will mark accordingly whichever is the closest, I will mark that designation. Under employee type, I will mark either on contract, lecture basis, part-time or regular. This column, again, you do not have to fill. Now this particular column, which is active, so this column is the is active column. Now if the teacher is in your school, you need to mark as yes. If an existing teacher has left your school or has retired from your school or for any reason is not in your school anymore, you need to change this yes to no. Please do not delete any rows from this sheet. If you delete the row, I will not know which teacher should not be there on the bottom. So if a teacher is retired or has left your school, you just update the status as no. Now, so I am adding a teacher. I will mark yes. I will mark the gender as male or female. I then have to enter the date of birth. I then have to enter the appointment date, the district, and the type of school, whether it's an aided, a government school, or a private school. Yes, you heard me right. This attendance is for all the schools. We are not differentiating between private schools or Goa board schools or any schools. Any school that is there in Goa, this attendance bot applies to all of them. Once you enter the details, it gets auto saved. You do not have to go and save this file. This gets automatically saved over here. Now, once this sheet is done, that is it. Your work ends there. Now, after you update this sheet, comes the next step, which is my work. My work is to ensure that this new teacher details that you have entered on this sheet are also reflected on the attendance bot. So now I will, before I show you the attendance bot, all right, I'll pause for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, I would like you to raise your hand, okay, and ask the question. Or you can post it in the chat, whichever you're comfortable with. Okay, so I'll take one question at a time. The first person, Ramesh Willip. Yes, I have unmuted you. You can unmute your mic and please ask your question. Ramesh, if you are speaking, I cannot hear you. Ramesh, are you able to hear me? Okay, so I think so Ramesh is unfortunately not able to talk. So we'll move on to the next person. The next person is Sunita Pawar. Sunita, I have unmuted you. Can you please speak and ask your question? Sunita, you have to unmute yourself as well. On the mic button, can you click the mic button and then you'll be able to speak? Okay, I'll move on to the next person. Veena, I have unmuted you. Is there a question you want to ask? Yes, Veena.
Yes, so I have a query.
Yes, tell me.
When I scan that code, I was not getting the school school device number at all mentioned there.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll just go back to the sheet and you can confirm. So you mean to say your school is not on this list? Is that what you're trying to say? Dina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So my question is, you're not able to see your school on this list. Am I right?
Yeah, the school device number, I mean the 900 schools that are showing.
Okay. Okay, so if your school is not visible on this list or you don't have access to the file, Veena, can I please request you to drop an email immediately to vskde.goa@gmail.com and mention your school name and your
Just
ULIS code. I will get it added immediately within the next 1 hour to that sheet so that you can access it. Can you please do that? I'm dropping the email in the chat as well.
yeah,
Just
sure. I will do
just
that.
send me and we'll do the needful. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Veena.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So I'll move on to the next person. So the next person who has a question is Pratap. So let me just see this. Pratima Naik. Pratima Naik, I have unmuted you. You can ask your question.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello. One teacher, she was working in another school, and this year she is working in our school. How can we update her? Should we leave that code column blank?
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to go to the sheet again and I will show you with an example. Okay, it
Okay,
will
sir.
make it easier for you to understand. So
Okay,
let
sir.
us assume that this particular teacher, Shami D. Kamal, who has a teacher code and the designation and everything for this school, has been transferred to another school. The first thing that you need to do is in the old school needs to mark this teacher as inactive. So they will come here and they will change this to no.
Okay, sir.
That is the first step. Now, the second step is in the new school. Let's assume that I open a new school, okay? Let us say they have gone to this particular school. So, what you will need to do is in the new school file, you will have to come here. You will need to add, so since this is just 1 minute, just loading. Okay, just a minute. So while this, it's just internet is a little bit slow today, I really apologize. Okay, so now that I have come to the new school, what I will do is I will enter all these details again of that teacher. So this details, for example, the name, the designation, his date of appointment, as per record, I will enter all those details here. I will keep the employee code blank. So when a teacher gets transferred to a new school, the employee code will change. There's a new employee code that will be given to that teacher.
Okay,
All
sir.
right.
Okay.
The rest of the details will remain the same. You will enter the same details. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I got a lot of questions on this, so I'll just clarify. The appointment
Sir, one more
date
question.
is not the date the teacher joined. Sorry. Yes, go ahead, please. Okay. So the appointment date is not the date of joining the school, but the date the teacher got appointed into the system. All right. So, for example, if a teacher got transferred today to a new school, the appointment date is not today, but the time she became a teacher.
Okay, sir.
Just
Sir,
going to
one more.
revert
Sir,
this.
one more question.
Yes.
Our headmaster is retiring tomorrow, and till now we have not got the DDO, new DDO. So who will be marking
Okay.
the attendance of the teacher?
Okay. So let's take a live example, right? Can you please tell me what is your file is here, right? Can you please tell me what is the UDIS code for your school?
300
Yes.
106
Okay.
07
Okay.
001. Government High School Savavere.
So it is there. So what I will do is I'll open this file. I hope everyone is paying attention because once it may happen in the future that you have the same query. So please pay attention. So teacher, in your example, see if you see on your file, no one has been marked as a headmaster or a headmistress. So
Yes,
the
sir.
first thing that will happen is no one can mark the attendance. So what you need to do is you need to come on this file. Okay. Now your new teacher, what is your headmaster's name who's retiring?
MD Angdi. I think it is not updated, sir. Only teachers are updated.
Okay. Okay, fine, all right. So Pratima, what you need to do is then for the time being, one
Yes.
teacher will need to take the responsibility of uh, marking the attendance. So in place of the headmaster, who is the next most senior teacher in your school?
Sheetal Fatte.
Okay, so what we can do is temporarily, I'm going to
Yes.
make the change live. I will maybe assign her the designation of in charge teacher temporarily. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Rest of the details remain the same. Now, what will happen, Pratima, is once we
Yes, sir.
update this data on the attendance board, which is in the first week of August or second week of August, Sheetal
Yes.
Farte will now be able to mark the attendance of all the teachers. I
Okay,
hope
sir.
that answers the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
And
Yes, sir.
Pratima,
Thank you, sir.
please, yes, you're welcome. Please double check all this data and make sure everything is correct. If you have any new teachers, please add them. If any teachers have left, please accordingly change the status to no, so that when we update the data, you're able to see the correct details. Okay? So I'll move on to the next question. So the next question is from Prakash. Prakash, I have unmuted you. You can ask your question. Prakash, can you hear me? You can ask your question. I have unmuted you. Okay, I'm going to assume you cannot hear. Okay, I'm just going to take a few more questions in the chat. Just give me 1 minute. Yes. For attendance. Okay. Okay, so in the chat, I have a question. How much time do we require to wait for the employee code for new teachers? Do we inform you via email or should we check the file after a couple of days to see the updates made? So, Sanya, the answer to your question is a slightly complicated one. The reason being, right now, we are collecting the data as a manual task, which is why a new employee code takes a little bit of time. When I say time, it takes approximately 2 weeks for the new teacher code to be assigned. Once a set of new teacher codes are assigned, I will update on the WhatsApp channel informing you that the new teacher IDs have been assigned and you can start using them. The new teacher details need to be updated on the file. Please note, tomorrow is the last day to update the teacher details. Thereafter, we will lock the file for the next 2 weeks. And after 15th of August, we will reopen the file if you want to make any further changes. That might be last episode. So, is it necessary that the HM of the school can be in charge to mark attendance or any senior teacher allotted? Clifford, ideally, it should, in the ideal situation, the headmaster, the HM of the school, has to mark the teacher attendance. In case the HM is not able to mark, you can assign the designation of an assistant HM or an in charge, okay, to a particular teacher in your school. Now, when you assign the teacher that role, you need to make that role change on that file as well. So just as I explained previously, on the file you will need to mark. So let's say you are taking on the role to mark the attendance. Your headmistress needs to give you permission and say, okay, on that file, please mark Cliffa as maybe assistant HM or an in charge to do the needful. And it is possible. But you have to update the file accordingly. Teachers' attendance can only be marked by HMs, assistant HMs, in charge, and in charge teachers. Pratima has a question. Music teachers are coming for 2 days. Lab instructor 1 day. Theater art 1 day. Other days they are working in other school. So, Pratima, what you will need to do is, you will still need to add these teachers to your school. When they are present in your school, you can mark them as present. When they are going to the other schools, in the attendance board, there's an option called others, which I will show you after I finish all the questions. You can mark them as others. I mean, yes, only teachers' attendance is to be marked as of right now. Student attendance, midday meal, non-teaching staff, all that will come on the attendance board, but that is later. Reason being, if I tell you to mark teachers, students, and midday meal all in one go, it will become too much for you. Hence, we are rolling the attendance board out in a phase-wise manner. We are first doing only the teacher attendance, then later we will move to the student attendance, and then we will move to midday meal, and then move to the non-teaching staff attendance. Great. So if I have missed any questions, I will take them towards the end. All right. I will now proceed to show you a live demonstration of how the attendance board looks and like how it works. So the first thing you need to do, all right, is if you're using an Android phone, you need to download the application called Swift. You can go to Google and just type in Swift Chat, all right, and you will get the link to the Play Store. For iPhone users, you will need to open this link, which is web.intelligence.ai/chat. You will need to open it in your browser. For iPhone, there is no Swift Chat application. You will need to open this in your browser. Swift Chat application is only there for Android users. Now, once you download the Swift Chat application, you then need to have the smart attendance added to your Swift Chat. My colleague Amit, I would request Amit, Sifo, or Pratik, can you please share the smart attendance link in the chat? So once you install Swift Chat, you need to click on the smart attendance link. Once you click on the smart attendance link, a page will open and it will ask you for your school code. I will enter the school code. This is a test school code that I'm entering just for the demonstration purpose. I will confirm that yes, this is my school. It will ask me to enter the teacher details. What I will first do is I'm going to enter 04571. It will give me the details, the teacher code, the name, and the designation. I will confirm that yes, the details are correct. As an HM, I have the permission to mark teacher attendance, student attendance, and midday meal attendance. If you are an HM and you are not able to see all three options, it means your designation on the file is incorrect. So then you need to go to file and you need to update the designation. Once you update the designation, it takes approximately 1 to 2 weeks for it to reflect on this attendance report. Right now, since it's a manual task, it's taking 1 to 2 weeks. However, once we automate this, it should take lesser time. Now, as an HM, I have all three options. We will not talk about student attendance or midday meal attendance. I'm just going to talk about take teacher attendance. I click on take teacher attendance and I get the option of record attendance. I will click on record attendance. And maybe in some 30 seconds, you will now see the list of the teachers in your school. If the list of teachers is incorrect or for any there's a mistake, you then need to check this file. If this file has incorrect details, then this chatbot also will have incorrect details. Now by default, everyone is marked as present. In case a teacher is absent, you can click on the drop down and you have a whole list of options. We have included childcare leave, earned leave, half days, full leave, holidays, maternity leave, paternity leaves, training workshop leaves, under suspension, leave without pay. So we have tried and included as many options as possible. However, I have still got some feedback that there are some options that are missing. For example, sick leave is missing, casual leave is missing. All right, we will add those options as time in the next 1 or 2 weeks. We'll add those options as well. If there is no, if let us say a teacher is on leave and the option that you want to select is not in this list, please select the next available option that is closest to the type of leave the teacher is on. Now, let us say for schools where the data is incorrect or the list of names is incorrect. Let us say, for example, Jayamala is no longer there in this school. She has left the school or retired, but the name is still showing up there. Now, that is a mistake. The first thing, of course, you will need to do is you will need to update this file. Once you update the file, then within maybe 1 or 2 weeks, this chatbot will get updated. Until then, until the update happens, you can mark this feature as others. The same thing, Pratima, in your case, if Jayamala is a music teacher and is in your school for 2 days, and she is not there today and she has gone to another school, please mark her as others. I will also introduce an option, okay, in the later updates. Keeping this scenario, it happens a lot, right? Where teachers are teaching in more than one school. I will try to introduce an option which will say teaching in other schools. Until I introduce that option, please mark as other. Now, assuming I have marked the attendance for everyone, I will just, for testing purposes, I will mark one as absent, or let's say I will mark on full leave, and I will click on submit. You have 20 seconds to change your decision. If you click on submit, once submitted, you cannot edit the attendance. If you want to cancel, you can cancel, but once you submit, attendance cannot be changed. Now, if you want to check at the end of the day, you want to check the status or your attendance status, say you don't remember, or let us say from the school, from let's say from the department, someone has said, I want to see the attendance of your school for today. What you can do is, you can click on the 4 squares, you can click on attendance status. Since I have marked teacher attendance, I can select teacher attendance report and I will get a daily report. As of now, we have daily report. As time passes and you use it more, we will update the bot so that you get monthly and weekly reports as well. So it gives me the attendance status of my school, teachers present, 2 out of 4. It will also give you a PDF document which you can download, and if required, you can share it with the officials who has requested to know the attendance of your school. This is how the report looks. It will mention your school name, your school code, your school name, the teacher IDs, the teacher names, and the attendance reasons. That is how you mark the teacher's attendance. Any questions from anyone? If you do, please raise your hand. Okay. Resha Korgaokar, I have unmuted you. Do you have a question? Resha, do you have a question? Okay, I am assuming Resha, you don't have a question. Okay, so I'm going to move to the chat. And let me see what questions are in the chat, if any. Okay, I think so. It's done. Teachers attendance on staff. On my school. So, Viliana Rodriguez has a question. On my school list, my teachers, while updating, she deleted the name of the retired headmistress. Okay. Viliana, can you please send an email to vskde.go@gmail.com? Mention what has happened. We will try and restore those details. Those details are important because if you have deleted the entry, I do not know what entry you have deleted. So for me to know that, you will need to let me know. All right. So send an email to vskd.go@gmail.com and let us know what it is the issue, or you can call us also on our contact number. Okay. My colleague will put down the contact number in the chat, and we'll sort out your issue. Amita, I think so. I've answered your question. If a para teacher is deputed in 2 schools, the name will be there in both the schools. When the teacher is in your school, you will mark as present. When she goes to the other school, you will mark as other. So to everyone, the link of the spreadsheet will be shared in the WhatsApp channel. Okay? The WhatsApp channel is my only means of communicating with you. So please ensure that you join the WhatsApp channel. Amit, can you please put up the WhatsApp channel in the group? Joining the WhatsApp channel is where you will get all the updates of VSK and the chatbots. Any future workshops we're having also will be posted over there. So I would request all the teachers from all the schools, please join the WhatsApp channel. If you're worried about privacy, your number is not displayed to anyone in the channel. It's a private channel and your number is not visible to anyone. I will post the links, all the important links, such as the user manual for the attendance board, the file links, the chatbot links, the Swift chat application link in the channel. All right, and I will share it over there. Contact number, email, I will put everything there. Primary, I want you to join the WhatsApp channel. Joining the WhatsApp channel will help you stay up to date on all the VSK updates. So please join the WhatsApp channel. Pratima, if you are not getting access to the sheet, can you please immediately call up on the landline number 083224102213 and my colleague will help you and ensure that you have access to the sheet. You should have access to the sheet. We have not locked it yet. Okay, Pratima, you're saying you're getting only view mode. Okay, let me check since I'm here. Let me just check. Hold on a minute, please. Pratima, it's an editor link. You should have access. Kindly refresh, and you should have access to the file. Anyone can access the file. Jasmine, please do not email us the file. You need to update the file online. Teacher code will be available. Later, 1 to 2 weeks now. It's a manual process. All right, we'll let you know once the teacher code has been signed. You start marking attendance from today onwards. If a name is wrong in your list, you can mark it as other. Attendance is to be marked from today onwards itself. Manisha, student attendance, we are not marking right now because of certain issues. Primary unneeded school, I will be able to mark. Now, your question, you will have to update the designation of the person who is to mark the attendance in your school as head of the school, as an HM or an in-charge teacher, and they will be able to, if you have changed to assistant headmistress also, they will be able to mark the attendance. Well, if your name is not in the school list, you need to send an email to skt.go@gmail.com. Please do immediately because the last is tomorrow. Overnight teachers on maternity leave, in the list is an option to mark as maternity leave. You will still ensure that you mark the attendance for the teacher and mark as maternity leave. Rachel has a question. I'm newly joined teacher, so we'll be doing of teachers in my school. So just wanted to know where is the link of updation one with the URI school of schools. Rachel, there is a WhatsApp link channel shared in the group in the chat. Please join that channel. I will, once this session is over, I will send all the required links in the channel and you can then make the changes. Please note, Virja, the last day to do so is tomorrow. Aparna, if the computer teacher is on leave, she will come back, right? So you can still keep her, mark her as on leave. The teacher who comes as a replacement, you will have to include that teacher's name and mark her attendance as well. Yes, you will mark, you will even put down the NSQF subject teachers in the attendance list. You will mark their designation as NSQF. So I will open a sheet. So there is an option, instructor NSQF. If you have NSQF teachers coming in your school, you can mark this as a designation. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute. I think so. My colleague has shared one more file with me which has a set of questions. I will just check on that. Just going to take you through. So these questions answered. So as I was saying, I was on mute. Unfortunately, I apologize. Marking attendance for teachers is a mandatory task. All right. Once all the details are updated, you have a buffer time, right? Till the details are updated, you can practice marking the attendance for at least those teachers whose names are showing correct. After the 15th of August, if you are still not marking attendance once the details have been updated, please note you will most probably receive a letter from the Department of Education informing you about the same. So I request all teachers, all HMs, please convey the message to your teachers and your HMs. Attendance is mandatory. The number that you see 77 here, it has to be 100%. All 1470 schools have to mark attendance. As of now, I understand there are some schools whose data is incorrect, or some schools are not able to mark the attendance because the designation is not correct. An exception can be given to those schools, but those schools need to update the data file. Once you update the data file, or even if you do not update the data file, then the accountability lies with you. After 31st of July, we will update the data. And by the 10th or 15th of July, the attendance bot will get updated with the list, with the new details. Thereafter, every school has to mark the attendance. Please convey the message to all your colleagues. Attendance for teachers has to be marked on the attendance bot. So I just want to pause a minute and see any more questions. If you have any questions, I would request you to please put them down in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. While you are putting down your questions, as you can see, I can check the attendance for different schools. I can also deep dive into this and get the attendance report and see in which school how many teachers are present at a given date, or how many teachers have taken leave, or maybe a workshop on a given date. The reason for us to check this is to understand the gaps in the schooling. A particular school has a leave, a maternity leave, or childcare leave. It helps the department understand that the teacher needs some temporary teachers until the regular teachers resume their work. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Unfortunately, the internet connection has dropped, so I have joined from my phone right now. So, the session, I mean, if you have any questions, I would request you to please drop an email to vskde.goa@gmail.com. All right. And well, yes, that's it. That's the end of the session. Any questions from anyone? I cannot see the previous question. So, if you have any questions, fresh questions, you'll have to type it in again. If not, the session has ended for today. If required in the future, we will hold more sessions as well to help you with any other queries. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye. Have a nice day. Yes, Manisha, you can add resource room teacher as well. For those who don't have any queries, the session has ended and you can leave. Thank you so much, everyone. If there are any queries that we have not been able to answer, please send an email to vskde@gmail.com and please do the needful. Yes, so you can add counselor teacher as well. Yes, you can add music teachers as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. I'm ending the session.